So let's just say you guys suck with like finding really cool fonts. Let's just then say I don't. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys some really cool fonts to download that are both free for commercial and personal use as of this video. So just don't blame me if you get in trouble. But as always, all the fonts you guys see in today's video will be linked in the description down below if you guys enjoy and download and support the artists themselves, favorite the Behance product or something. But besides that, let's just go look at some really cool fonts. Do not forget about the everything pack, the first link in the description, the product where you basically get all of my 32 products for one purchase, and then every other product that I come out with for free via Selfie. You should know about it. So up first, we have Ankish. It's a bold hitting typeface with beautiful flexibility as presented in Andre's presentation. It feels like it can work as like an upscaled brand's like heading font, or even just dive into sports with an intense stylish presence, or even lean into like a futuristic vibe with the right supportive textures and objects. It's not every day you get to have a dope sans-serif typeface that feels like you can run in a few different projects. It has some unique grotesque inspired letters in places like the A, the N, and the H, and it just feels like a great font to add to your library. So something a bit more blocky is next, and it's known as Shumi. The vibes that I get for this font feels playful yet trusting, and it's actually 10 years old today for the record. It's the only font that's old. However, I feel like this font can actually be used in moments when trying to communicate with like a Gen Z or a younger audience, and just feeling like you still know what they're talking about and doesn't have that Comic Sans feel. The font itself has enough weight to be used as a heading, and also boxy enough to have enough confidence to use it to like start a phrase or a sentence. And for me, I think it's still a very solid font to use still in 2025. To keep the boxy trend going, I have another nice twist on designing characters, and it's Jerk, or JRK. I'm gonna call it Jerk. Jerk is a display font inspired by 80s technology, and each letter is made entirely of straight lines, which I think just kind of helps with leaning into that angular yet sharp look. Overall, the font itself feels like it hits that perfect balance of modern with a twist, and I also feel like it can communicate with an environment wrapped in like streetwear or even like urban fashion. I can't pinpoint exactly why, but probably because the project leans itself into that more like vibe than tech, I think. But regardless, I think it's still an easy download. So I cannot let you go without giving you a new sans-serif typeface to enjoy. Inspired by one of my favorite fonts, Space Grotesque, it was designed with that in mind, but also increasing its thickness and stance with like interpretive little slices in some of these letters and numbers. The typeface itself does only come in one weight for both the upper and lowercase, but it's between what feels like a medium and a bold, so I think it can still be used for both a heading and a paragraph text. Something I feel like many of you guys will love if you guys download it. Next, our condensed font known as Griffith, which is just way too close to girth. I don't why just name it girth at this point. Griffith strikes a balance between strength and a subtle sophistication, and just still remains powerful yet refined. The artist themselves says it's designed to embody resilience and determination that I can say is pretty fairly accurate. It can lend itself to a very grungy environment, or even like a sports one in my opinion. It's an easy pickup if you're a fan of condensed fonts with like rounded edges, and if you're not a fan, I think you should still get it. Now, since I mentioned sports, I wanted to show you guys TK Sans, a bold, condensed, and blocky display font inspired by esports and soccer or football. Sorry. It comes with both an italic and normal style that feels like it channels that perfect amount of collegiate or like competition or competitive energy to be used in sports or just like an active graphic regardless. So whether you're doing it for like a jersey or a poster, branding, I feel like TK Sans can probably deliver a pretty good combination of style and strength. So it's definitely a download in my book. So now for my playful and like Instagram coffee shop style logo designers, we have Halo Deck. I actually just used this font in a branding project that I got a lot of love for its playful face without looking like a Comic Sans. The coolest trait to me has to be the way that the kerning and the tilt for each character was designed. It automatically has like a great balance of tilt and space, and that makes it feel as if it was typed and placed purposely by the designer and not actually the font designer, which is pretty cool in my opinion. In my opinion, if it's like a playful branding, coffee shop, hangout vibe, and even like a replacement for like those Burbank like thumbnail designers out there, I know you. I think it's a really solid choice to switch some stuff out. Now, next we have Freestyle 163. So if you're like an apparel designer or just love graffiti typefaces, this has got to be like a top 3 of all time. That's saying something. I got one myself. It's called Brick. I think we could go like we can go character for character here. Freestyle 163, I feel like it has a really cool just approach on like the ink bleed meets graffiti typeface that just feels like something you can really enjoy on like anything graffiti. Personally, what I'm a big fan of is the fact that it comes in 2 different styles. So each of the actual letters themselves have a little bit of tweaks in here and there, and even like a little bit of thinness in some of these other characters as well, which just leaves a bigger open space for variety and ideas and techniques that you can use to kind of mix and match the two. And just for the record, for those who don't really understand exactly how to use like a graffiti typeface, because realistically, you're not going to have many moments in time to use it as a heading font, but these are the type of fonts that you do not sleep on when you want to kind of fill some texture in and use it as more like texture, like a type texture, rather than use using it as like the actual readable type in the graphic. Get what I'm saying? Use these guys for an example. I just feel like this kind of font itself doesn't really come around that often, and when it does, and it can be used as type texture, it's basically like it's the easiest download of your life. And just because I wanted to add some really two little fun ones, but I didn't really know exactly what to say, we have Bipple Sans and a limited Pi font. Realistically, these two typefaces themselves, they're like very specific use cases, but I really do enjoy the character that these two kind of fonts have. And in a world of this kind of anti-graphic meets like the current trend of 2025 designs, I just feel as if these are two that I really wanted to present, even though I know it's not like super usable, but I wanted to show you guys anyway. And with that, that is the end of the video here today. So as always, the links in the description down below to download each of these fonts. Don't forget to support the artists themselves and just leave a like on their project or something. And don't forget to leave a like on the video itself if you guys enjoy the font videos and just kind of, you know, hanging out. So with that, Seso HQ out. Don't forget to keep smiling, stay positive, and stay freaking productive, guys. Later, much love, peace, enjoy your day.